Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend, pardon me, there's more of me to grow. Creative in my process, enjoy the show. The will is different when you recognize the different strokes. Different folks, same goals, we all want the most. So when we reach the top, we can enjoy the toast. The type of bread we get is fresh about the bakery. Told them don't play with me, with or without a degree. Don't question my intensity, bravery. Similar to agencies that want to see you fold. So just pray for me. Pray for me. Einstein with my energy.
But it's also very much a study of David and Jill and their relationship, and the two old farmers who befriend them, Leland and Mary. So there's a dog story in it too, to complicate things further. But I had a lot of fun with it, and it explores some themes that are important to me. So I hope once again that readers will check it out and find it engaging.
Yeah, I always think it's important for the author to tell their story the way they want to, and touch on the themes and the ideas that really resonate with you, because I've found that the things that resonate with the author often resonate with the reader as well. Some of the things that even you've mentioned just in that short time period have me interested, just because it's like that. I feel like as an activist, as someone that's involved in so many movements and different ideologies, exploring a different time period and seeing what that looked like then, being able to take kind of a deep dive into a past society that has existed, but a fictional society where the ramifications aren't necessarily impacting our real world. It seems so interesting to me.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. And I think, the ideas, some of the themes that I explore in the book have relevance today too. We're living in times when we really need to think about how society is changing, how we can influence that change, what direction we're going to go. We're seeing a rise of fascism, which is, I think, what a lot of us were seeing back in the 60s as well. And how do you respond to that effectively? I think there are lessons to be learned from that period. But it's really interesting to me that several reviewers, a couple of reviewers have actually referred to this book as a work of historical fiction. And you sort of alluded to that as well. And personally, I don't think of it in those terms because it's my life, but it's true. It's a long time ago. It's 60 years ago, and things have certainly changed.
Yeah, so, I definitely have seen that happen sometimes, where readers kind of put books into different genres than the author might have considered. That's happened to me many times. I write dark fantasy is my main genre, I thought. But a ton of the writing that I've done has been considered LGBT fantasy because of some of the lead characters, and it's so interesting because that never was the intention, but it ended up becoming such a major piece of the story that most readers started to see that, and I was like, wow, I would have never even categorized it there, but even in reflection, I'm like, yeah, that's a huge plot line. Like the main plot line for most of the books is the relationship between two husbands, which I never considered.
Well, interesting, yeah. But when I look at it, I mean, it's history. It's history. Actually, the Historical Society here in Vermont spent a whole year looking at the 1970s, and they had me on a panel to talk about some of the stuff that I discuss in the book. And so they clearly think of that era as a historic period. Yeah, makes sense.
So what was it like writing this story? Because you did get to touch so much of lived experience in your own life. How much research did you have to do into that time period, and what, if any?
Well, I'm old enough that my memory wasn't as sharp as it used to be. So I did go through some archive material, a couple of different places to sort of jog things, but a lot of it is based on personal experience. I mean, I want to emphasize it's a novel. The characters are purely my creation, and the situations, some of the situations described reflect some of my experiences, but not all of them. Some of the situations in the book I actually had to tone down to make them more believable. But the 60s were like that. It was a wild time. And you know what they say, if you remember the 60s, then you really weren't there.